Welcome to Love Them Knives. And the people at Olight, they said, for the December sale, could you do a thing on our knives? And I go, huh? Not flashlights? And they go, well, you are Love Them Knives. I mean, you're a knife channel, right? So I'm going to do a thing on their knives. I'll just keep it posted. It won't be time sensitive because it'll be about the knives and not about the specifics on a certain monthly sale. By the way, my link is below for the December sale and or any other monthly sales they have, but it's from the 15th to the 19th, okay? So it's going on, 15th to the 19th of December, it's going on. Let's talk about knives though, okay? Because we are Love Them Knives. And we have all the stuff. I mean, over the months, I've collected the nice rubber mat and, Velcro patches. Warning, always using any. And then the coins, of course, these are yellow diamond, red diamond, blue diamond, and Fan Day. Okay, Fan Day. So we got them just as side decorations. Let's talk about the knives. I don't have them all, okay? I don't have them all, but I'm going to go over 6 different knives that have been issued by Olight as the O knife, okay? Right here, and this is the Drever, okay? This is the Imperial Trooper Drever. There's something like this. Liner lock, white scales, what can I say? Black wash blade. And back, I mean, when they came out, right? At first, they were N690. Bowler, okay? Bowler N690. Of course, this steel is made in Austria by Bowler, but the design and manufacturer is in China. Dual thumb studs, liner lock. Here's your lockup. That's 35%, isn't it? Jimping here, so the pass-through, you can disengage this liner and the blade will drop. It's got a nice drop to it, and it also is a tactical flipper with a jimped flipper tab, which would probably be the preferred way to open this knife, except they are giving you options. You can do it with the thumb stud, and it's ambidextrous thumb stud, so you can reverse flick it with your middle finger over here. So very fidget friendly, okay? And it's a deep carry pocket clip, and the screws here are flat, okay? You can't reverse this one, okay? But it's deep carry, and so the design of this pocket clip is really friendly for being able to go over the lip of your pocket and hold on securely. It's not real big, but it's not a small knife either. It's fairly lightweight. And, this is 3.5, which is kind of a standard size, and 8 inches overall length, okay? So this is the Drever. And what's interesting about the Olight O knives is that each knife comes with its own coin, which is interesting. I mean, there's guys that like these EDCable coins. Busted. I mean, busted. Yeah, I guess I'm looking around. People are going, I think I know one of them. Okay, so it is cool. It's kind of an unnecessary extra, especially when these things are, on their monthly sales. These things are like, these knives are around $60 or so. That's pretty inexpensive for ceramic bearings and all this. And a nice design. Thumb ramp on here too, by the way. Big choil. Jump up on there. And let's just finish this one off by finishing this paper off. Yeah, nice edge right out of the box. So it's a good factory sharpness. So there's the Drever. Oh, I was just looking today because I was perusing the December sale. thinking about getting an Arkfeld knife. And then I think there is, there is a new knife on there. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. I got it. But the Arkfeld, I really like that flashlight. And I saw that you can get these scales in red, white, and blue, like American flag. Okay, I think they were $35. I'm going to go on back on there later today and see how that, if I can get to that. But they come in, of course, this box, but then inside the box, you get this Velcro pouch. And in the pouch, there's this back little pocket. That's where the coin goes, okay? And then also there's some paperwork underneath that in a little cardboard slip with your warranty information. But you also get a microfiber cloth. Okay, so that comes with all these knives. Really nice. Next, let's put the Drever back to rest and bring the Beagle out. And that was kind of the next one, right? And here's the Beagle. Now this one, when they came out with this one, I mean, none of these knives are terribly old, right? Because they haven't really been doing them for all that long. But here all of a sudden, we're busted. It's Azo design. If you are into knives, you know that Azo is one of the main designers for Kaiser knives. So this here tells me, I think Olight, of course, is subcontracting or OEMing their knives with Kaiser, which is a really good idea. Kaiser uses a lot of, they were using N690 for a while, but they're also using a lot of 154 CM on their Vanguard series knives. And Kaiser, as far as consistency and creativity and design and stuff, you could do much worse. Kaiser, that's a great place to have these made. And their Vanguard series are pretty inexpensive as well. But a nice drop. Ambidextrous thumb studs. I don't need the blue accents, but I think they kind of pop a little bit, and I think some people like them a lot. Otherwise, it's kind of all blacked out, isn't it? It's another liner lock. Jimped here. There's enough differential in height here to disengage. It drops easy. Nice little drop. Reverse finger flick, thumb flick, and this is not a flipper, by the way, if you saw that. Now, this one is not only a deep carry pocket clip, looks like the same pocket clip as the other, but flat screws, but you can reverse it. So you can go right or left hand, and then also you have a lanyard hole. So steel liners, but if you look in there, you will see these big round circles. They're cutouts. They have skeletonized the steel liners. And they've done that to reduce the weight of the knife. And it feels pretty light in the hand. And let's throw the tape on this one just for jollies. A lot of these are pretty much around 3 1/4 to 3.5 inch blade, and this one's like 3.3 something and 7.5 overall length. So it's a little shorter, okay, than the Drever. The Drever's a little bit bigger knife, okay? So that's interesting, but it's got its own coin. So, and here it is, okay? And it says Beagle. And then, of course, on the one side, it says O knife, but Beagle right there. So you have that setup. Now, let's go to the next one that I think is really fascinating. And this one is a fairly recent release. This is the Freeze 2. This, I don't know if this is an Azo design or not, but this, I'm sure they're probably still using Kaiser as the OEM manufacturer. They're centered. There's no lock, rock, or blade play. They're not bad that way either. There's no issues there. And yeah, it's got a factory edge on it. This is a differential here. Let me see what they've got. Yeah, they're skeletonizing the liners in here. The lockup is about 35%. No jimping here, but it's easy to disengage. And this one is really smooth drop. I mean, it just, you don't even shake it a little bit. It just drops. A lot of jimping here. The design flow is really good, and you can go right or left hand. It's a carbon fiber G10 laminate, okay? So it's pretty resistant to chemical and things like that. It's not going to scratch up real easy either. So 154 cm blade, and it's a satin grind. And it's not a real big knife either. And let's grab my tape again. I need to leave it out here. Yeah, another one that's like 3.35 inch blade and what, 7.5 overall. Okay. So pretty much like the Beagle, the same size. Okay, and of course, lanyard hole, etc. Open design. These are the standoffs here that give it structure. And then these liners here on these, if you've noticed, are not nested inside the scales. They show. So it gives it, they're usually a little thicker, but it also feels more structural, more sound, more solid that way. But this is really smooth. And what's interesting, on that particular month that they did that, they also made a copper version. So here's the coin for the freeze. Okay, now you flip it over, and of course, the O knife thing like the others, but the freeze, okay? Now, the copper version, holy moly. Okay, so that's pretty bright there. Now, this is the copper version, and I broke the seal on this several months ago, so it's probably, if you're looking at it carefully, seeing that it's starting to patina, because it came sealed in the plastic, and here it is. So this is the freeze, and it's really cool. I mean, so they offered a copper version. These Olight is evolving pretty quickly on their knife endeavors. Are they going to have a knife called the Endeavor? Oh, and there's jimping up here as well. And will copper cut? Copper will cut. So they come with, pretty standard sharp factory edge on them, like almost any other knife would from a production facility. And I mean, the steel is good because 154 cm has plenty of chromium in it. So it is a stainless steel. It's not just it's not a non-stainless. It's not a carbon steel. It has carbon in it, okay? So it can rust. I mean, anything with carbon in it, these steels, can corrode over time given the right conditions. But this is going to be more resistant to that. So that and the Bowler N690 are stainless, and they have chromium to the point where they're considered a stainless steel. And so not as likely to corrode, more resistant to that. But this is the Freeze 2. Okay, so I thought that was really cool that they did a copper version, and it really was drop shutty. And there goes the coin for the other one. It drop shutty. Really nice action on it. But then it was like last month, I think. Here's this one, the Rubato 2, okay? It's my Cardo 154 cm stainless. There's the coin for it. So because I live in Florida, of course, they did that for me specially. Just kidding. That is a lie. But the Rubato 2, I don't know. I mean, okay. And here's the knife, and what's interesting about this one, here's another progression on their knife, which is it has now gone to an Axis style of lock. And you can call it a piston lock or an kind of an XR lock. I mean, there's different locks in the industry that resemble this kind of a lock. And basically, this piston moves forward and backwards, okay? And it goes over the top of this blade here and keeps it from folding. When you pull it back, the blade is free to swing like that, okay? And then the omega spring here, and it's kind of hooked into the scale and hooked around, you can see a little bit of wires hooked around the rod here and on both sides. And so it gives it tension. So it has a detent in that way. But it's easy to kick open, kind of a nice sheep's foot looking blade on this one. Here comes the tape. Get ready. And, oh, this is a 3 and a 7. So basically 3-inch blades, 7 inches overall length. So this is a smaller knife, but this is micarta, and it looks like I got the loveliest version of it because actually, see, that's machined in there. It looks funky, doesn't it? But you're not seeing the depth of that. See, when they machine through there, it's not like any threads are sticking out or any stuff. It just looks funny because it's machined down through there, so it doesn't look right with the pattern of it, but it is. It's okay. Lanyard hole, and you can flip the clip, which once again is deep carry. The clip goes over the pocket lip pretty easily, and then this flattens out. So it doesn't really disturb your hand when you have it in here. It doesn't stick up at the end and jack into your hand or anything. No, this is comfortable. And this piece of paper is going to take a beating again. Okay, that feels good. That's sharp enough. And you can flip the clip to left hand. So they must have taken some jazz on some of the early ones about, hey, there's left-handed people in the world. So they did. And as you can see, they have skeletonized these liners in here. If you see, it's cut away like that, okay? But it's an open design with standoffs here. These are not nested liners. And it's real easy to operate because this one's not a flipper, but this one's easy to operate because of this type of lock. And so you just pull the bar back, okay? And there's bearings, ceramic bearings, okay? And it flops back and forth, but you just let go of this, it's gonna stay in place. Flip it up, let go of that, it's gonna stay in place. Now you can flip it open with the thumb studs, ambidextrous thumb studs, reverse flick it, and you got jimping right down the blade here, okay? Let's see if there's any other information that's important. Of course, Azo shows up again, okay? So, yes. Would I say Kaiser? Yes, I would say Kaiser, okay? So let's go and progress to the most recent one now that's being released. And, they just couldn't stop meddling with things, so they just made the metal. And what kind of metal is the blade? It's 154 cm. So this is interesting because now all of a sudden we are going from a liner lock to a piston lock to a button lock. What's next? I mean, so they're really kind of putting the pedal to the metal. Oh my God, I didn't even see that one coming hardly. And doing the button lock, which is now really popular with a lot of knives. It's so fidget friendly. I mean, you just press, and it's not an automatic knife, okay? It just drops. I mean, you push the button, okay, to release it from the locked position. Now you got this little piston across there with that collar. And that collar comes out because there's a spring behind it, and it interferes with this blade. So instead of the whole piston like on the axis lock one, this little collar just comes across part of that collar and interferes with this blade. You push it and then the blade's released, okay? Now there is a detent in here as well that keeps it closed when it's like this. And it's centered, no blade play, no lock rock, no problem here. Good solid knife. This paper is gonna take a beating. Okay, now I'm cutting and ripping. Let me start with a clean. Okay, yeah. Okay, we're good. My cutting skills may not be that great, but and so we've got a factory edge on it, 154 cm. We've got this G10 here, okay, for scale material. It's not micarta now. Now we've done G10. We've done a laminated carbon fiber, okay? We've done copper. And so now we're back to the G10 where we have machined away. It's kind of a layered and exposed the gray underneath it to give it a pattern. Now also we are going to the left hand available on a deep carry pocket clip with flat head screws here so they don't hang up on the lip of your pocket anymore. A nice pocket clip that is pretty much in line with the other models that have come out. Also look in here, we have liners that have been skeletonized. They're not nested, they show. They're a little heavier gauge than a nested liner in my estimation. And you have a lanyard hole as well, but it's an open design, easy to clean, okay? And a button lock. But it's also a tactical flipper. So it's jimped on this flipper tab. It's a light switch. I don't know about, it's not really a push button. So a light switch, pulling back like that, and it kicks open. Got jimping on top of the blade. And we will see what we will see on this. Okay, now this is 3 1/4. Now the Rubato 2 was 3. And the previous models were either 3 1/2, which was the Drever, and the rest of them were like a 3.35, 3.4. This is a 3 1/4 and 7 1/2 overall length, okay, which is a pretty popular size. So this is easy to carry. These are all pretty lightweight in the pocket. There's no real issue there. And the metal that comes with it says metal. And it's a coin. Metal, is that a bird? Is that why there's a bird on there? I don't know. I didn't do my research. Sorry about that. But also, bet it's a Kaiser. What do you want to bet? But a very standard blade with this swedge up here. So it gives a little reinforcement to the tip. That tip is not fragile. But, you're not supposed to use it as a pry bar. Because if you want a pry bar, get a pry bar from Olight, okay? I still have this one, the O-Pry, okay? So this is different size bolt heads, all the way up to this side here. And then here's where you can put your little Torxes or in here. So you got Torxes in here. And I don't know that you can buy these now necessarily, but they have a number 6, a number 8, and then a screwdriver and a Phillips. And I just think they the bomb, if I could get them out of here, they the bomb. Hold on, just like this. Now, and it's got a little magnet under there that holds it in place, but you could either put this in here, so you have, okay, now it pushes down. So now this is solid, okay? And you can use it like this, but if you needed to really give it the oomph, this fits in here, so you can really use leverage. And then I dumped the other thing out here on the floor, but I don't care. So that, but this, I mean, if I was smart, I would have just gone back and re-secured this so it wouldn't fall out, okay? And then pocket clip. But this is thick piece of stuff right here. So this was cool when these came out, and they weren't that expensive. I mean, it's titanium, right? Yeah, it's a 1/4 inch thick, okay? And, of course, it'll open your beverages. It's a pry bar, and it's got some length to it, you know, that kind of thing. So throw this back in here. Yes, this is magnetic, and you got to get that just right. So it'll sit down in there. And there it goes. It drops in on its own. Of course. And which way are we turning this one? Turn it like this or this. There you go. So that holds it in place, okay? Now, that too big? Check that out. Another Opry Pro. You think you could put a little tritium bar in there? Oh my goodness. And this is open your beverage, pry bar, and then you've got both bits in here, and they will go in here as well. So, or I guess in here. No, yeah, maybe. I didn't try that, but let me see. No, it's not made for that. No, or that. No, it is only for this. Oh, and I remember one more thing. So it's this, so you don't get that leverage twist available, but let's see if we can jumble these together, okay? And then we roll this back so it keeps them in place. It's a whistle. See, you blow through here, whistle. So you're out in the wilderness. All you got is a cooler full of beer, and you need to pry open the clubhouse door so you can get some more. And now you're completely lost. So you need to blow the whistle and get the guys to come over now that you've already imbibed all their beverages. Yikes! Now you're kicked out of the club. So the pry bar. So don't use this as a pry bar. By the way, did we go a long way around by saying that? Okay, so that was that. Now, let's do something. Let's close with a big bang here. A big bang, the Big Bang Theory. This right here is the Fortitude. This is a fixed blade knife on by the way, go to Buy. I'll give you the link to Buy. It's Olight's related channel where you can get camping equipment, tents, you know, hiking poles, different things, okay? Including knives, pry tools, stuff like that, okay? So check that out because they have the little spinning wheel where you win things and you get points, and just kind of like the Olight site does, okay? So you can establish an account there. But I got the Fortitude, and this Fortitude, she a dog. That there, it's got the tech lock on here, okay? So pop that open, put it on your belt, undo these screws if you want. Just carry this Scout style, just this, and take this whole tech lock off if you want. Or reorient this to maybe a cross draw position or something like that on your belt. But that is a Cerakoted blade, D2 full tang Fat Daddy. I mean, you can take these bolts off. If you saw my video on this, you can take these bolts off. You could take these scales off. You could cord wrap this thing if you want. And of course, the cord you can wrap around, run it back through here and have a lanyard, or you can just put a lanyard through here if you want. But this is longer than a 3-inch blade. Believe it or not. So it's a 4 1/4 inch blade, and it's 9 inches overall. So, I mean, it's not that unusual to have a 9-inch folding knife, but this is, of course, a fixed blade. Now, what's ever left of our puny, beat-up piece of paper? Okay, so, yes, this has got a good edge on it as well. Let's recap, shan't we? We have a button lock. And they had to meddle with something good, so they made the metal. And the rubato. So you see the evolution here of the button lock, the axis lock, or whatever you want to call that piston lock thing, right? And then, of course, the early models, which were the Beagle and the Trevor, okay, which were liner locks. And then they've even done a copper knife, which was the Freeze 2, as well as getting into the laminated carbon fiber, which you may or may not like. But hey, it looks a little bit more sophisticated, that kind of thing. And you know, a lot of these knives have optional colors available here and there as you go. So probably taking enough of your time. The Olight Oknives family. Wow. And this is just getting started, right? I like the coins, like the presentation, nice boxes, good product, inexpensive, and very useful. EDCable for sure, fairly lightweight. Right and left hand for most of them, okay? This is the only one that has no left hand orientation, the Trevor. Okay, I'm going to leave you to it. Thank you so much for hanging out. We had our O-Knife chat. And you guys, stay sharp.